people not being able to find employees.
Most jobs were added in professional and business services, healthcare, and retail. Unemployment was up from 3.5% to 3.7%. High prices aren't keeping Americans home this weekend. A recent survey found 53% plan to go somewhere. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
If it's Labor Day weekend, this time on the move, usually flying out of New York for one last summer adventure. But this year, they're hitting the road.
The fear of our family being stuck in the Caribbean or in another part of the United States definitely did weigh into our decision on doing a drivable destination.
President Biden traveled to Philadelphia for a speech to the nation. He took aim at his predecessor.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans representing extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Correspondent Ed O'Keefe at Independence Hall.
The president spoke to a crowd of mostly other Democratic leaders and activists and mentioned Trump a total of 16 times. But White House aides are dismissing criticism that this was too political a speech, arguing there's nothing political about sticking up for American democracy.
An assassination attempt in Argentina. The president says a gunman tried to kill Vice President Cristina Fernandez outside her home, but failed when his weapon misfired. The suspect quickly arrested. Fernandez is facing trial on corruption charges. Extreme heat is making the job more difficult for crews fighting a wildfire northwest of L.A. Several were treated for heat-related injuries as temperatures soared to 112. Governor Newsom.
This is an extended period, and as a consequence, it's going to require us to extend our thinking and our imagination in terms of working together to keep people healthy.
More heat records expected to fall today. And war makes for an uncomfortable moment at the U.S. Open. Ukrainian player Marta Kostyuk refused to shake the hand of her opponent, Victoria Azarenka, after the player from Belarus won their match. Azarenka's refused to condemn the war. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
Why pay full price when you know that you can save at rocketgrabplus.com? Check out all of our deals going on right now from Applied Training Solutions, Style Encore, Third Gen Tire and Service Center, Daylight Outfitters, and the Vino Wine Warehouse. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at rocketgrabplus.com.
rocketgrabplus.com.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the broadcasters.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right. Start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 877-25-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 877-25-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 877-25-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building fast and easy. Call 877-25-STEEL. That's 877-257-8335. 877-25-STEEL.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Mostly sunny skies and 70 degrees at 9:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. Teachers with Bay City Public Schools have negotiated a new 3-year contract. The contract includes a 10% salary increase over 3 years, plus other degree steps and longevity pay increases. Teachers will also see increased summer school rates for this and next summer, and it includes language and a salary schedule for the Great Start Readiness Program lead teacher. The Bay City Public School Board ratified the contract agreement during a meeting on Wednesday. The city of Mount Pleasant has issued a boil water advisory for residents. The advisory comes after the city detected a problem with the treatment system at the water plant. Due to human error, filters and entered the distribution system. To correct the mistake, officials at the plant have added chlorine to the water. Customers may see discoloration in their water or smell a chlorine odor. Testing of the water will take place today and tomorrow. The boil water advisory will be lifted when 2 consecutive samples are clear. Political and business leaders joined executives from SK Siltron for a ribbon cutting in celebration of a $300 million investment in a new Bay City facility where semiconductor chips will be made. Congressman Dan Kildee was among those attending.
It would be a mistake if we only saw this as a way to mitigate against some of the challenges that we've experienced in the last couple of years as a result of supply chain disruptions. It will do that for sure. Having access to these critical elements produced right here is very important to our economy.
State leaders say 150 jobs will be created by the new investment. W News Time 9:07.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan, including the potential loss of principal.
WSGW News Time 9:08, and the weather forecast is next. 3 teens are accused of stealing thousands of dollars worth of items from a church in Allendale Township, west of Grand Rapids, in 2 burglaries. The 3 16-year-olds allegedly stole from Lifestream Church twice over 2 days. They reportedly took computer equipment, electronics, cash, and other items. Deputies executed search warrants at a home in Allendale Township and in Holland Township and found stolen property, which has been returned to the church. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Department says 2 boys and 1 girl face charges. Firefighters across Michigan have a different look this month. Instead of their normal city insignia, many departments are wearing T-shirts with a single yellow rose. Livonia Fire Chief Robert Jennison says the shirts are to raise awareness to the growing problem of firefighter suicides.
A coworker, serious incidents like that, those are very easy to identify when they happen, and then we can throw a lot of resources at it to help the individuals that are on those calls. It's the repetitive stress injuries of having to take care of people every day.
Jennison says firefighters don't need to suck it up. There are medications and people to talk to that will help. Unlike with police and the military, Jennison says no one is keeping track of the number of firefighters who commit suicide. Grand Rapids police officer Gregory Bauer is on trial for carelessly firing his gun during a chase. Bauer has claimed he tripped on an uneven lawn while running to arrest a man suspected of stealing a car, and his gun discharged and the bullet hit a building. No one was hurt. Assistant prosecutor Felix Tarango says Bauer never tripped. A physiology professor, Roger Inoka, testified he's found many times tripping causes officers to have an involuntary muscle reflex, which can lead them to fire their. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 9:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. We'll see partly sunny skies for Friday with a high of 89 degrees. Friday night will be mostly clear and we'll see a low at 66. Saturday, showers and thunderstorms roll through in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see sunny skies in the morning with a daily high of 88 degrees. Sunday will be partly sunny. We'll see a high of 74. As we look to Labor Day, we're going to see mostly sunny skies with a high of 78 degrees. Tuesday will also be sunny and we'll see a high around 82. Going into Wednesday, lots of sunshine throughout the day with a high of 86 degrees. I'm staff meteorologist Amanda Edwards with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently 69.
Now, the only local radio talk show to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Good morning to you, and welcome on this Friday to another edition of the Art Lewis Show from my second on Spirit Home studio. Nice to have you with us today. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll be chatting with Jim Begick from Begick Nursery about things that should be growing around your house or shouldn't be growing around your house. At 11 o'clock, we're going to learn about voice and an upcoming fundraiser at Johnson's Giant Pumpkin Farm. That is what is ahead this morning, but we're going to start out this morning talking to Jae Oh, who wrote the book Maximize Your Medicare, now in the 2022-2023 edition. I've lost count. That's 8 or 9 of them, I think. We're going to talk about some of the things that happened in the Inflation Reduction Act that might impact Medicare recipients. And time permitting, later on, we may talk a little finance, too, with Jay. But let's get right to it. First of all, good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Art. Thanks for having me again.
Sure. Now, I mentioned the book is in its 2022-2023 edition. How many is it?
I also have lost track. But
it seems like there are revisions almost every year. Does the Medicare laws change that much?
And I think what we're going to talk about later today, Art, is a very, very good example. The Medicare laws the regulations that govern Medicare are going to change. I'm not saying simple things like Medicare eligibility age. That I don't think is disputed. But the details, the financial ramifications to people, and as a result, the way that people will choose and what people will choose can be different. The ripple effects are far and wide. Only 60 million people in Medicare are.
So let me ask you this philosophical question. You mentioned that you don't think the eligibility is going to change. How long can Medicare survive if they don't change that eligibility and start pushing that age limit up a little bit?
I'm not in the camp to be a person that says, Medicare is bankrupting the country, because the reality is that it's funded first by a Medicare tax for people who are working. And then on top of that, there's your premium. And then also Part B and Part D are both subsidized from numbers from the federal budget. And whether or not, as a practical point, you could actually vote out those persons who are going to vote to not fund Medicare, that seems like a stretch to me.
Well, I've often said when it comes to Medicare and Social Security, the one group they won't monkey with is the group that's currently receiving it, because they all vote. We're all older Americans who vote, typically.
And you can see it in the Inflation Reduction Act. I've posted it on the newsletter a couple of weeks ago that Inflation Reduction Act came into law, that I called it Medicare Part D's big win.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. Let's
Sure.
talk about that, because it is true. There were a lot of positive things. I have said, I don't know, you as a financial planner may disagree with this, but I've said that they certainly misnamed this piece of legislation.
Right.
Nothing in it that's going to reduce inflation, but but there are positives for Medicare Part D users, correct?
I think that is there's no doubt about that. That is the best conclusion, the singular takeaway that you can have here. There are many different moving aspects and reasons that we would conclude that, and they begin right away here in 2023.
So let's talk about that. 2023 is the first year we're actually going to see some of these reductions.
That is right.
if everybody woke up this morning thinking, "Oh, hallelujah, I've got all these reductions." No, you got to wait a little bit for them. So
That is right. There needs to be some time. That's right.
What are the first ones that come along?
For me, the ones that affect the most persons are going to be that vaccination is going to be at $0. So that means whether that be COVID, monkeypox, and importantly, in the age division for Medicare, that also means shingles.
Yeah, shingles is. I a couple of years ago, I went to find out about it, and the copay was ridiculous. I mean, it's an expensive vaccine, even if you have insurance. So, are
No
you
doubt about
saying
it, it's not well covered by Part D plans or Medicare Advantage plans, the prescription drug benefits inside the plans. That said, at zero, you're talking, and usually you have two, from what I am told, and now that means $500.
right? Yeah, you have to get 2 shots. So I do have to ask this: vaccines are going to zero. That includes the shingles vaccine, which is very expensive. Who's paying for all this?
Well, I think the other aspects from it of the Inflation Reduction Act, they're saying that the negotiation is going to result in X dollars of savings. They're talking about, of course, the other corporate tax actions, etc. So we're not part of the CBO, etc., about how the actual accounting will work, but that had to have been the case because of the way that they passed the rules.
Yet
Technical legislative matters.
Yeah, yet they don't seem to want to tell us how they're going to pay for it. That question's been asked. But now I have the next question that follows the money, so to speak. Does this mean, of necessity, that my Part D premiums will be going up?
That's a very good question, which is that part of also what's going into 2023 are a couple of extra very important features, things that people will get a lot from. The first is that insulin is going to be capped at $35 copay.
Right.
Diabetes an epidemic nationwide. People know this. And it has been the case in the past that the pilot program, you could have accessed $35 copay, but that wasn't universal across all plans. In 2023, it will be universal across all plans. You will not have to hunt and choose for individual plans for that reason alone. That doesn't mean that that is your only decision maker, but the fact of the matter is that is a factor that stops to move. The other thing that you said about your premium, whether or not, it is very intuitively, attractive to say, okay, these extra benefits have to come from somewhere. And yes, in fact, what you have is that in addition to the insulin is that the price increase of any singular medication cannot exceed inflation. So if a pharmaceutical raises the price over the pace of inflation, there's going to be a rebate. This one for me is not as large because the rebate would go back to the Medicare system. Back to your question about how to keep premiums low for Part D. One thing that is absent is the idea that, yes, can Part D premiums increase without limit? I don't want to be a person who says the sky is falling. That's generally not my camp. As we've spoken over 10 years, that's going to be the case. While you can expect increases, the flip side is very, very hyper competitive markets.
So that will drive price too to some degree then. Yeah.
I definitely think so. And in fact, you'll understand that the set of benefits inside of Medicare Advantage have improved a lot for a number of reasons, but a very key input. Just our common sense would tell us it's partially because of the intense competition. I don't think there's any doubt. And you can see that in Medigap premiums as well, which in fact, the richest plans that are available to new enrollees are actually flat to lower over the past 5 years and even beyond that.
All right, hang on, Jay. I got to take a break here. We're talking to Jae Oh, his book, Maximize Your Medicare. We're talking about the new Medicare benefits in the Inflation Reduction Act. And we will do more of that when we return.
Celebrate Labor Day September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th while you enjoy America's pastime, Great Lakes style. Your $25 ticket gets you admission to the game and the Northern Lights Pavilion All-American Buffet. Your choice of a hot dog, brat, hamburger, or barbecued chicken, and all your favorite All-American sides. Coleslaw, potato salad, baked beans, and cookies, plus unlimited soft drinks. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now at loons.com. Celebrate Labor Day September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with the Great Lakes Loons. Dive in! It's Loons baseball time!
I'm Rocky Moselle with StarRegistry.com. Since we were children, we've been told to reach for the stars. It was great advice. Now it's a great gift. Name a star after someone. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com, we will name a star after someone very special to you and send an incredible personalized gift. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333. Visit StarRegistry.com for the hottest gift.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples one-subject notebooks are just 35 cents each. Plus, during the backpack clearance event, you'll save up to 50% on select backpacks, lunch bags, and water bottles. Staples, this year we're not going back. We're going forward to school. In-store only, ends 9/3, limit 30 on notebooks.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about it now. 19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The Labor Department's update for last month offers a mixed picture on the job market. There were 315,000 new jobs created in August. More than 500,000 were created in July. The unemployment rate increased to 3.7%. Economists were predicting job creation of 300,000, with the unemployment rate staying the same at 3.5%. A bright spot is that more people were returning to work. The labor force participation rate rose to 62.4, though it's still below February 2020 levels. Broadcom shares have been gaining after the company predicted solid demand will continue in coming months. The chip maker says it's seeing steady spending in infrastructure. That's your Fox Business. Nico Sola, invested in you.
Now is the time to diversify your investments with gold and silver to protect your retirement. Hi, it's Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Bishop Gold Group sells physical gold and silver delivered to your door or put directly in your IRA. Call Bishop Gold Group and tell them Lisa Booth sent you to receive a silver gift on your first order. Dial pound 250 from your mobile phone and mention keyword Bishop Gold or go to bishopgoldgroup.com. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from Bishop Gold Group.
There's never any you won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
The WSGW Morning Team Show.
WSGW online poll, student loan forgiveness. President Biden announced a student loan forgiveness plan.
We will forgive 10 outstanding federal student loans.
Depending on your income parameters, Pell Grants, maybe up to $20,000 could be forgiven. No private loans forgiven. Many different conversations taking place. Some simply welcome the plan. Some want even higher amounts forgiven. Some say it'll cost too much. Some say it's unfair to people who've already paid back loans. Some say it's going to help the economy to remove debt and free up spending money. Some say loan forgiveness isn't the answer, but overall college costs. Some say the idea of some kind of loan help may be worthwhile, but not this plan. Poll question: what do you think about student loan forgiveness?
Forgiveness. Do you agree with President Biden's plan? Do you think there should be some type of loan help, but not this plan? You disagree with any loan forgiveness, or you're not sure? Head to WSGW.com. Scroll down that whole box and make your votes that way.
The Morning Teen Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you talking to Jae Oh, the book Maximize Your Medicare, now in its 2022-2023 edition. Is that, are you published by Simon & Schuster now, or one of their divisions?
I can't even remember. It's called Allworth Press, and yes, most of the printing and book publishing is so complicated.
I think it's Simon & Schuster that owns them. So
I think that's right.
All right, so let's go back to the Inflation Reduction Act and its benefits for Medicare recipients. Something called the catastrophic stage, which I didn't even know about. Tell me about that.
Today, what happens for those persons who have reached very, very expensive out-of-pocket limits, you have to pay 5% for once you hit this cap.
Is that cap per year?
No.
Per year? No?
You pay 5% copay once you hit a particular limit.
In other words, in your lifetime, if you hit this limit, after that, you pay a 5% copay? Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry, Art. It is actually every calendar year.
Okay, that's all right. Yes,
that is correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, all right.
So once you hit that cap, you're responsible for 5%. Well, we're going to transition in 2024. Instead, what's going to happen once you hit this cap, you are going to pay 0. And you're not a person with, let's just say you have generic medications, you don't know this. But for persons where you are required to take a new medication whose sticker price is tens of thousands of dollars a year, this all of a sudden, these new measures that we're going to discuss here are enormous when people are thinking about their retirement and not running out of money.
Well, now, do I also understand, though, there's an out-of-pocket cap on prescriptions? And is that separate from the catastrophic?
Right. So in 2024, what you're going to have is once you hit the cap, you are going to stop. What I'm saying is that cap is far higher. And in 2025, probably the punchline for Jay, this is the most important aspect, which is that in 2025, there's going to be a hard $2,000 a year cap for out-of-pocket costs for under either Medicare Part D or your prescription plan inside a Medicare Advantage plan. And it's big.
So 2025, that cap becomes $2,000 for prescription drugs, right?
That is correct.
The other thing, of course, there was a lot of publicity given to the fact that Medicare is going to get to negotiate all these drug prices. So everybody hears that, wakes up in the morning and figures, hallelujah, all my drug costs are down. Not so. You got to be taking one of the only 10 that they can negotiate up front to be able to see any benefit of that, right? And then it's 15 the next year. It's progressive, but it's not the whole scope of drugs.
Yes, you're right, Art. And the details are extremely blurry. Well, the world is blurry. It's more blurry, right? Which is that, first of all, the pharmaceuticals have already begun to push back on this feature. The second thing is that the 10 drugs, the way you're going to come up with this list is not yet, not for me, perfectly known. It's not known today for sure, right? In other words, I've seen language to say it's the 10 most prescribed drugs. Well, is that by cost? Is that by reference price? We don't have very good clarity on what the methodology for that. And then on top of that, like you pointed out, which is that it's not every single medication.
Yeah.
It's a list, and the list grows.
I've heard a variety of explanations for it, but the one that seemed to make the most sense is that Medicare will negotiate the 10 most expensive drugs first, because that then relates to their costs. and that the list would be done based on what the cost of drugs are. Now, that's speculation, I know, but it seems logical that that's what I would do. If I'm going to go after the drugs, I want to go after the ones that cost me the most money to start with.
Well, you can see how nuanced the conversation can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the reality is, for me, the logical calculation would be the 10 most prescribed medications by dollar. Because while you're right that a medication could be $50,000, if one person out of 63 million beneficiaries, the absolute cost to the federal system is just not going to show up. However, if you multiply it by cost times the number of amount being prescribed, that would be the number that you'd want to negotiate.
Yeah.
If someone were part of the federal government and that was the negotiation, if that were the objective. I'm just a guy here, Art.
I understand that, and so am I. And I have to ask this, Jay, because I've always, and I learned from you, there is a window for Medicare. It happens in the late fall here, coming up October, November, thereabouts, for you to change your plans and all of that. Why then have we had for 12 months a barrage of advertising telling us to call and check and do it now? And where'd the window go?
Well, I would say that most of the year that the commercials are aimed for those who are turning 65. They kind of know they need to understand about Medicare. And so as a result, you're still talking about the baby boomer generation still turning 65 at a pace of 10,000 people a day. So as a result, it's not that fun. There's complications. People are worried about it. People know that they have to correctly enroll. I think that is fair for a 64-year-old. But getting off the schneid and actually acting, sometimes you need a nudge. And I think that the existence of the commercials are to provide the nudge. That said, what you pointed out is right. October 15th is the annual election period. That runs through December 7th. You have the unrestricted right to change Part D plans, to change Medicare Advantage plans, an unlimited number of times. The last one that you select will be the one in effect for calendar year 2023.
And is that done without health considerations or health examinations? No restrictions.
It's a good question. Now we're in the nuances of how to get into these different policies. Part D, and Medicare Advantage have no restriction, period. So there is never a medical question, any health-related question to even address in order to enroll and apply for one of those two types of plans. For Medigap, a different standard, meaning there is an open enrollment period. There are also other methods of getting into or being accepted by Medigap without health questions. For example, if you work until you're 68 and then you retire and you've been fully covered by your employer, then you do not have medical questions. There's also no late enrollment penalty. Once these windows close, however, then you are subject to medical underwriting in most locations throughout the nation, and that is true in Michigan. Then the question is whether or not your health situation will allow acceptance by the carrier. That is up to the carrier.
Let me ask, this is another one of those, philosophical questions, We have all these Advantage plans today, and we have Medigap today. And, if you have Part A, B, and D and Medigap, you're paying more than somebody on the Advantage plans typically. Is there going to come a point in time where Uncle Sam, through its laws, manipulations, whatever you want to call it, forces us into the Advantage world and the Medigaps are going to go away?
It's a good question, Art. I didn't realize we were having a philosophy talk today.
Oh, yes, we are. Just beginning.
Friday, I'm pretty tired from all the work that we've got to do over here. But anyway,
That's why I get you on Fridays. I can get you.
right, all worn down. The reality is that there are some oddities in the way that healthcare is delivered in this country, right? For example, a primary care physician would say, there are a number of different determinants of someone's health and therefore usage of healthcare resources, and that this should be coordinated. But that's not the way it happens in the US right now, right? You go to doctors, you go to hospitals, you cherry pick these a la carte paid on an individual line item. Well, Medicare Advantage carriers and Medigap, the CMS, know that this is going on for sure, and are trying to coordinate to lower your need for healthcare services. Well, the ripple effect, which is a good, objectively speaking, is a fine objective, which is to lower the cost of your need to require healthcare services. And if that means a collage of different factors or benefits, that could be best.
Let me
you're asking, however, is slightly different.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to it because I got to take a break. We're talking to Jae Oh. Maximize Your Medicare is his book in its 2022-2023 edition, probably 9th or 10th edition now. And we've been going back about 10 years with Jay talking about it. And we will be back with more after
Thursday and Friday, September 8th and 9th, Voice Inc. invites you to join them at Johnson's Pumpkin Farm for the 2022 Grape Escape. Sample local Michigan wines and meads paired with cheese and chocolate. Enjoy each other's company while you traipse through a 13-acre corn maze. Performances by Marsupial Cream Pie and Melissa May and Brian Coonan. Enjoy wines at the Cash Bar and feast on selection. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit the-grape-escape.org. This event is a fundraiser for Voice Inc. of Michigan.
Hi, this is Jessica. It's time to check out United Financial Credit Union and experience the credit union difference. From youth accounts to retirement accounts, we can help you with all of your financial needs. Here at United Financial Credit Union, we've been committed to our communities since 1964 and from financial stability to our members and their families. Whether you need a loan or are looking for a safe place for your savings, you will always be treated as our top priority. Not a member? Why not? It's never been easier to open an account. It's time for you to check out your local friendly credit union and see how we will put you first.
Must meet eligibility requirements, federally insured by the NCUA.
We're where you work, where you live. United Financial Credit Union. Serving the Valley community.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Ad paid for by USA Veteran Law Group. Attention Marines, if you or a loved one lived or worked at Camp Lejeune for more than 30 days between 1953 and 1988, you were exposed to drinking water contaminated with benzene and other causing those exposed to develop devastating health conditions. You may qualify for significant compensation if you have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, bladder, kidney, or liver cancer, or other serious health conditions. Get justice at 866-463-0001 or visit usaveteranlawgroup.com.
Hi, this is Mike Avery, and here's what's coming up this week on Outdoor Magazine. First, Captain Bill Winowicki of the Michigan Charter Boat Association. Then Rob Miller talks about using dogs to track deer. Dr. Megan Moriarty on avian flu concerns for waterfowl hunters. And in our third hour, it's Richard P. Smith on bear hunting in Michigan. Listen Saturday mornings at 6 and Sundays at 9 on WSGW.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios, you are listening to 100.5 and 790 WSGW.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show for this Friday morning, talking to Jae Oh, the author of the book Maximize Your Medicare, a nationally known expert on the subject who gives these talks on broadcasting companies all over the country and makes appearances and does all of that stuff. How he finds time to run his business, I don't know, but he does. I've known Jay now for 10 or 11 years, and I learn something every time I talk to Jay. And this is a period where, this is a strange period in our history in this country for a lot of reasons. But one of them, we're faced with huge inflation and all of that good stuff. And I'll let you put your financial planner hat on here in a minute. But certainly the cost of medical care in this country is really out of sight in a lot of ways. And I've said this before, you never see a hospital advertise, come stay with us because we're $10 cheaper than the guy down the road. It's come stay with us because we got all the bells and whistles. Those bells and whistles all cost something, don't they?
The cost of healthcare in the United States is high, 15%, I want to say, of GDP, which is a very, very high percentage, clearly. And if people saw the cost of health insurance for a family that it cost their large employer, you would knock your socks off. Do we have a silver bullet? I don't think so, Art. I mean, I don't spend lots of time inside of Maximize Your Medicare to suggest fundamental overhauls, because you were talking about starting over from the struts and whether or not we have the political will or capital in order to do that, much less the agreement. I think is.
I'm not a price guy. By that I mean, when I look at 3 or 4 items, I don't necessarily buy the one at the cheapest price. I buy the one that gives me what I consider to be the best value. Am I getting value for my medical expenses in this country versus anywhere else in the world? I mean, I think I am, but I'm asking you.
I think, again, you're going to have entirely different opinions based on the population who you ask. For example, Mr. Perfect is going to always say the answer is no, right? Because he doesn't experience, doesn't use, idea.
It's perfect, right? Yeah. Who is that guy?
No, that's right. By that same token, you could say that you're Mr. Perfect for 55 years and then get ill, and all you remember is the 56th year. And the way that human nature generally is, memory short, likes to remember downsides and negatives. Well, you've, for example, if that person had no insurance and had no cost, discarding all of those times, just remembering, my health insurance didn't pay for something when I was 56 years old. So complicated, Art, that like I said, it's also why I don't spend lots of time comparing the United States to other places. Like the cost of becoming a medical doctor entirely different in the United States compared to other places. So right from the beginning, almost impossible to compare.
Yeah.
From your experience, for example, if you had a cousin or a brother who was living abroad or something like that from childhood, their experience, their context of understanding would be so different.
And we tend to look at simplicity, but this is not a simplistic subject, is it? I mean,
no.
You can look at another country and say, oh, well, look, they pay for their Medicare. But that's the simplistic view. You got to look inside to see what you're not getting or what you have to wait for, or how long you have to wait. There's all kinds of variables, aren't there?
It's not only that. Some other countries just have a simple tax. That's fine. You could say that health. exactly. It's just a tax on top of one of your taxes. So this is what, it's intuitive for Mr. Perfect. You can understand, and I use the extreme examples just for illustrative purposes. But the point is that to that person who has never used it, he's been paying a tax for 55 years in a row with 100% certainty. And then whereas in the United States, you get to pick and choose, et cetera, et cetera. There are many, many layers. So like I said, I don't find it productive for people to point at country X, this or that costs, a fraction. And then on top of that, quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
all right. Where can people get information about the book?
Official website from the book is maximizeyourmedicare.com. There is contact information and many, many free resources and a lot of reference material there, in addition to information about the book.
All right, hang on. You're going to take off your Medicare hat. You're going to put on your financial hat when we return. Talking to Jae Oh, and we will be back with more after these notes.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem.
10 gallons of gas, cash or credit?
Yesterday's lottery ticket won't fill up your tank because when you're feeding a gambling problem,
okay, your grocery total is $98.
it's difficult putting food on the table, paying your bills, and keeping your life together. If you or a loved one is struggling with gambling, get free confidential help at michigan.gov/problem gambling. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
His constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating day after day. After realizing it was irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, he found another way and finally said yes to adding Linzess.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right. Start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 877-25. General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 877-25-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 877-25-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building, fast and easy. Call 877-25-STEEL. That's 877-257-8335. 877-25-STEEL.
Rocket.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Midland Brewing Company. You are going to get a $20 gift certificate to the Midland Brewing Company for only $10. They have 14 beers on tap, historically great food, and beer off the rail trail. Check out all of the award-winning beer at Midland Brewing Company. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Your home for Michigan Wolverines football is WSGW. The defending Big Ten champions are ready to prove that last year was not a fluke.
He's going to go down the sideline. Touchdown, Michigan. Donovan Edwards on the wheel route at the midfield stripe. At the 5. Touchdown, Michigan. He's in the end zone. Pick 6. DJ Turner.
The season kicks off against the Colorado State Rams at the Big House on Saturday, September 3rd. Game day coverage at 11 a.m. with kickoff at noon on 790 News Radio WSGW. The history.
2-1. Listen to 106,000 fans.
The tradition,
Haskins scores his 5th of the day.
the memories,
And he fires toward the end zone. Nottingham, and Michigan will win.
Michigan football is on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here at WSGW, talking to Jae Oh, the book Maximize Your Medicare, but among his other, and I played the University of Michigan football promo on purpose because his bachelor's degree is from the U of M in Ann Arbor.
Appreciate that.
Also has a master's degree in business administration and MBA from the University of Chicago, and has a company called GH2 Benefits, which is a financial company. So I'm going to have you put your financial hat on just for a minute. We as a nation are facing inflation. We all know it. We're not the only ones in the world, by the way, that are facing that inflation, but we are facing inflation, and we don't really care about other people's inflation. We only care about ours. The Inflation Reduction Act, I thought, was misnamed from the beginning, because by saying that, people will get up in the morning here, oh, they passed the Inflation Reduction Act. They go to the grocery store and expect all the prices to be down. Not happening. What can government do to impact inflation? The Fed is raising interest rates, for example. They raise it too far and we go into a deep recession, not just one of these, iffy recessions we're in right now. So what's the future?
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball, Art, because then then we don't need to meet on your great radio show at all, actually. But the reality is, and I think that you can hear from the Federal Reserve. I think that it would be correct and accurate to say that they have as much data and insight as can possibly be collected in one spot. And so when they're up there saying and Chairman Powell did say it in front of Congress, and this many months ago, which is to say there are factors that they simply do not control. That they do not control. In other words, what is going on in Europe, meaning energy supply issues with winter arriving. In addition to that, you've got the supply chain, whether or not China and their response to COVID and zero tolerance. These things are well beyond the purview of the U.S. Federal Reserve or the federal government. So as a result, while the United States, and I do think that the effort has been telegraphed, it has been foretold. The Federal Reserve has bent over backwards over the past 3 weeks, especially to remind everyone that inflation is tough. We're here to tackle inflation first. And the other day in front of Jackson, in the last Friday in Jackson Hole, Chairman Powell basically said it bluntly, which is, you are not listening to us as carefully as you should be. We cannot stop raising interest rates here. And so for now, I think that is, until they tell us otherwise, I think that we should believe them. That is my own view.
So at what point do they cross the line and drive us deeper than they want into a recession? Because that can also happen with these raising of the interest rates, right?
I think that, again, it's so difficult and it's very, very difficult job. And this is not meant to be a criticism of the Federal Reserve by any means, because they are also recognize that their control over that part is also limited. So as a result, hitting the brakes by raising interest rates dramatically, which they could have done. That was a possible path, which is just let's take the entire medicine right now. In fact, other persons in financial markets had suggested that. The risk, but that would have brought the risk that you just mentioned. which is it is not one single factor. And this is what I try to tell persons in financial planning matters of every age division. One single factor going against you, you can manage. It is that coupled with another and multiple other matters at the same time. About the housing crisis, many people remember painfully that their house went down and unemployment increased simultaneously.
Yeah.
It is not just one.
All right. Last question. Does the Fed also control the money supply? And what impact does that have on inflation?
I think what is yet to be seen here and the untold, the unknown, is that the tremendous amount of money that the Federal Reserve, pushed into the system as a response to COVID, that part of it is that they own a tremendous amount of treasury bonds and mortgage-backed securities. They are not going to reinvest in them, and they're going to be selling their holdings. Whether or not the bond investors around the world are prepared and have the ability to absorb the extra supply, I think, to me, that's your $64,000 question. It's a reason the mantra on Jay's Corner is stocks for show, bonds for dough.
All right. Jay, I got to go because I'm out of time, but listen, as always, thanks. How can people get more information about you? What's the website?
So certainly gh2benefits.com. And one thing for your local listening area, October 17th, Monday at Horizons, I'm going to be giving the free information session on Medicare. It's not a sales presentation, October 17th at Horizons in Saginaw, Michigan.
What time?
4 p.m.
All right. Jay, as always, thanks. Appreciate
My privilege, Art. Thanks for having me.
Jae Oh, we thank you for joining us. We'll be back to close out.
Summer may be winding down, but you can still get some of the hottest deals right now at the Maytag store during their Labor Day sale. The Maytag store has the great American-made appliances you know and love from GE, Amana, KitchenAid, Maytag, and Whirlpool. They have product in stock and ready to be delivered and installed by their in-house team of expert installers. And they don't stop there. They service the appliance parts and service team dedicated to working for you. You'll find so many amazing summer deals at the Maytag store. They've got the best of the season deal for a GE stainless steel kitchen featuring a 27 cubic foot French door refrigerator, an air fryer range, a hidden control dishwasher, and an over-the-range microwave. All of that for just $29.99. They've also got Amana laundry pairs starting at just $8.99. You can get these deals and more at the Maytag store's 3 great locations: 3800 Tittabawassee Road in Saginaw, 477 North Main Street in Frankenmuth, or the Maytag store outlet at 7400 Gratiot Road in Shields. Plus, you can shop online anytime at the MaytagStoreUSA.com. Stop by and experience the Maytag.
If you're one of the 100 million Americans who suffer from high blood pressure, this is for you. New Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure is specially formulated for people with high blood pressure. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free and alcohol-free. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is also decongestant-free, unlike some ordinary cold medicines. So look for Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed.
Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Only my Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep fast and effortlessly adjust for my best sleep. The result? 28 minutes more restful sleep a night. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Labor Day. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
All right, that'll do it for this first hour of the Art Lewis Show. We thank Jae Oh for being with us, the book Maximize Your Medicare, and his other company, GH2 Benefits. And we will move on to the next hour. Jim Begick will be joining us from Begick Nursery and Garden Center to help you with things that should be growing outside.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez in New York. Job growth is still powering the economy through high inflation. The Labor Department says employers added 315,000 positions in August. That's down more than 200,000 from July, but economists say hiring's still chugging along at a solid pace. Bankrate's Mark Ham
looks at these August jobs numbers along with the recently reported number of job openings topping 11 million versus 6 million unemployed, and regards the labor market as still hot, even if the unemployment rate has now edged up from the recent low.
It was at 3.7% in August from 3.5% the month before. Higher prices aren't keeping people from traveling this Labor Day weekend, but more than 2,000 flights have already been canceled this week. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve asked Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg,
how do you feel about going into the Labor Day weekend?
I do think the steps that have been taken so far are going to be helpful going into Labor Day, but I also is where it needs to be.
The shower water's trickling out brown now in one southern city. People who live there have been told to close their mouths when they shower.
7 so-called water distribution mega sites will be opened today in Jackson, Mississippi, as the city's 180,000 residents remain without running water. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves.
These sites will be well stocked, they will be well staffed, and they will be well prepared to handle the continued emergency of the coming days.
No one has any idea how long it will take to get the capital city's water supply up and running. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
President Biden taking aim at his predecessor in a speech at Philadelphia's
Democrats, independents, mainstream Republicans. We must be stronger, more determined, and more committed to saving American democracy than MAGA Republicans are to destroying American democracy.
Countdown on track again for the Artemis moon rocket to blast into space tomorrow. Correspondent Mark Strassman is at Kennedy Space Center.
The latest from Mission Control is that they are a go for launch, but that said, that's not a guarantee that this rocket is going to get off the ground. Nearly 500 of what they call launch commit criteria all have to line up for this rocket to get a liftoff.
What were you listening to this summer? Spotify says Harry Styles led its streaming song list, though 10 of the top 20 tunes were in Spanish. Bad Bunny had 7 on the list. His most popular, a collab with Chencho Corleone. The Dow up 128. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help you and empower your retirement. They talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Ad paid for by USA Veteran Law Group. Attention Marines, if you or a loved one lived or worked at Camp Lejeune for more than 30 days between 1953 and 1988, you were exposed to drinking water contaminated with benzene and other highly carcinogenic chemicals, causing those exposed to develop devastating health conditions. You may qualify for significant compensation if you have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, bladder, kidney, or liver cancer, or other serious health conditions. Get justice at 866-463. Or visit usaveteranlawgroup.com.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Live from the one 790 Newsroom. This is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 74 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. A new teacher's contract was approved by the Bay City School Board Wednesday. The contract includes language and a salary schedule for the Great Start Readiness Program lead teacher, plus summer school pay rates for this and next summer. However, the main part of the contract is the pay increase Bay City Public Schools teachers will receive. The contract calls for a 10% salary increase over 3 years at 4% the first year and 3% the following 2. The district's human resources update the contract information. Police continue to remind residents to roll up windows and lock their vehicle doors at night. 3 more reports have come into the Saginaw Township Police Department of vehicles stolen from homes where the owners have admitted to leaving them unlocked with keys left inside. The thefts occurred late Saturday or early Sunday from locations including Bach Road and Pheasant Run apartments. Vehicles were eventually found at a Buena Vista Township location, though police have not made any arrests at this time. The September 11th Community Day of Remembrance and Scout Salute will be commemorating the 21st anniversary of September 11th, 2001. The Day of Remembrance and Scout Salute, which has been held annually from sunrise to sunset since September 11th, 2002, will be held in several locations around the state, including at the USS Edson, which is located at the Saginaw Valley Naval Ship Museum in Bay City at 1680 Martin Street. The event will take place from 10 a.m. to noon. Various activities from all events around Michigan will be live streamed on the Michigan Crossroads Council Facebook page. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
Want to pay less for gas? Stop at any one of your Shell convenience stores where you'll save at least 5 cents a gallon on every fill-up with Shell Fuel Rewards. Earn even more cents off when you make purchases in-store on some of your favorite snacks and drinks. Stack the savings, and you can regularly save 10, 20, 30 cents or more off each gallon of gas. That's Fuel Rewards and your area-forward Shell convenience stores. And remember, when you want to pay less at the pump, go forward.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Midland Brewing Company. You are going to get a $20 gift certificate to the Midland Brewing Company for only $10. They have 14 historically great food and beer off the rail trail. Check out all of the award-winning beer at Midland Brewing Company. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. 2 groups have filed paperwork asking the Michigan Supreme Court to approve questions to appear on the November 8th ballot. Reproductive Freedom for All and Promote the Vote filed their requests yesterday, one day after the Board of State Canvassers deadlocked on the proposals. One question would decide if the right to abortion should be enshrined in the state constitution, while the other to have 9 days of in-person early voting and state-funded absentee ballot drop boxes. Attorneys for the groups are asking the Supreme Court to issue a ruling next week in order to give clerks time to add the questions to the ballots before they're printed. It's another potential voting equipment scandal developing in Michigan. Investigators from the Michigan State Police Cadillac Post confirmed they're investigating the possible theft and attempted resale of election equipment that went missing prior to the August primary election. Lieutenant Derek Carroll is the spokesman for the State Police 7th District.
We're not sharing a whole lot in the investigation at this point because we're still in the initial phases. But right now, to the missing machine and how that came about. We're conducting interviews as you and I speak now on this matter. So until we get some definitive answers, we're not going to say anything.
The equipment in question is identified as a voter assist terminal, which are used by voters with disabilities who need assistance marking their ballots at polling places. It went missing from the clerk's office in Benzie County's Colfax Township. This latest investigation follows a request by the Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel last month, seeking a special prosecutor to investigate the alleged unauthorized access of voting tabulator machines that were taken from 4 separate Michigan townships. A possible moratorium on new cannabis grower licenses has drawn some negative attention from proponents of medical marijuana. Last week, Michigan's Cannabis Regulatory Agency announced a public meeting September 14th to discuss a temporary stoppage of new grow licenses in the state. citing concerns the supply of marijuana produced by licensed growers will soon exceed consumers' demand. Other measures to be discussed at the September 14th meeting are eliminating excess grower licensing and limiting individuals' interest in growers and micro businesses. WSGW News Time, 10:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSG forecast. Mostly cloudy skies here for today with a high into the upper 80s. While winds out of the southwest around 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 20. Then for tonight, we'll have decreasing cloud cover and a low near 66. Saturday, a chance for showers and thunderstorms here late. Blend of clouds and sunshine develops high around 88 degrees. Then on Sunday, partial sunshine develops. We'll see high around 73. Labor Day Monday, mostly sunny, high of 78 degrees. Then by Tuesday, we'll see some sunshine, high around 81. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 71.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And a good morning again. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW, coming to you from my Saginaw Spirit home studio. For those of you watching on video, you can see the Saginaw Spirit picture behind me there. And we thank them very much for sponsoring our studio here at home. We're going to talk about things that are supposed to be growing or not growing outside. We're waiting for Jim Begick to get in touch with us from Begick Nursery and Garden Center, and we'll have a conversation on, I hate to think of this, but it's almost end of season, believe it or not. And we're going to talk about that with Jim this morning, and we say good morning to Jim Begick. Jim, good morning.
Yeah, hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I mentioned it. I mean, you blink and it's almost the end of season already. But we still have a lot of growing time left, particularly when it comes to lawns. So let's start there. Here we are in September. What should we be thinking about in terms of our lawns now and next year?
Well, first of all, it's a great time to do anything you're thinking about on an existing lawn. Let's say you got some patchiness, things like that. It's a perfect time to grow grass seed. Whether it's a new one or an existing one that you want to overseed, because we've got one day's cool nights, the 80-degree, 50-degree combination, heavy dews, more dependable rainfall, which we've noticed, and very little weed growth now. So that's the first thing that you're going to think about. Also, an early fall fertilization is good too. So don't know where you want to begin.
Well, let's start with fixing those patches that need to be done. First of all, before we get into the seeds themselves, how about ground preparation? If I've got a bare patch or a brown patch that I need to replace and repair, what do I need to do to get the ground ready?
Well, if it's a defined area and it's completely dead for whatever reason, then you're going to want to turn it over a little bit, firm it up slightly so it's loose on top, and then, incorporate the seed that you're going to use, seed bin that you're going to use in with that. And then you can, cover that with a little bit of, pelletized hydromulch. It also has a fertilizer in it. You can buy them in different size bags. It actually works quite well to feed that seed as it's germinating.
Yeah.
And so that's for the smallest patches. When you with spotty areas where it's pockmarked, and I actually talked about it in another segment. That's actually pockmarked. Sometimes the best thing you can do is either if there's not a lot of thatch, you can do it with a power rake, a thatcher, grind up the surface a little bit and drop seed it in. or some people are aerifying out there. Aerification is a real good way of bringing up the plugs of soil and getting the opened up so you can do some overseeding after that.
All right. And for our listeners, if you have any questions about your lawn, garden, transplanting, whatever, give us a call. Talk to Jim. 989-752-6111 is the number. So let's talk about the seed, because there's got to be a million of them out there. What do I want to use if I need to, fill in a patch, for example, that's brown and long gone? What do I use?
Okay. Well, a couple of things. Very up exactly what you might have already, because it's very difficult on site to say, okay, you've got this type of bluegrass or this type of fescue. But most of the good blends of lawn seeds out there are going to have at least two different types of Kentucky bluegrasses in the blend. You'll have a fine bladed fescue blend as well, as long as one of the more proprietary perennial ryes, not a straight perennial rye. And the reason that they blend them together is you're going to get faster germination on the rye. The fescues come in second, and the bluegrasses will take sometimes 20 to 28 days to germinate. So the other two act a little bit as a nurse grass. Fescues are good for long-term drought resistance, things like that. And the ryes become the nurse grass, but the better ryes are also what they call short crowned, which means the crowns aren't very high off the lawn. Short, you're not knocking it off the stubble.
Yeah,
that's a good start. Okay.
All right, we've got a caller here, so we'll get to our call. We'll get back to our conversation. But Ted is in Shepherd. Ted, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead,
I can
Ted.
hear you just fine.
Yep.
Okay, I was wondering if this is a good time of the year to spray for dandelions and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The dandelions are still going now. You're probably not going to get this time of the year. You'll get a pretty quick reaction off of the weed killers that you would apply. It will really cut down on any of the dandelions that are going to overwinter for next year. I mean, I'm a big proponent of fall dandelion control, even when you get later in the season. Any weed control for that matter, because your cooler temperatures out there, and you don't go for those herbicides that might be a little bit stronger, and you got to be a little careful with. So yeah, absolutely, go ahead with it. The broadleaf like dandelions, plantain, some of the thistles might be a little tougher to kill, but again, it'll work. And use a spreader sticker with it, what we call surfactants in the agricultural area that'll help coat the leaf. As far as the type, there are Trimex herbicides in the mix to take care of a wide variety of weeds. They're pretty good on most of them. They won't take care of clovers and ground ivies and violets. They're going to be a little iffy on that. You might have to use something stronger.
And do they contain a surfactant?
They do not on their own. Okay.
So you have to use one. Yeah.
So you got to use one. Now, the good thing about surfactants is, number one, they're inexpensive. Number two, you don't need much. It's only, depending on the concentration, it's only a tablespoon to an ounce per gallon. And what it does is it coats the leaves better. And you can also use these surfactants when you're spraying insecticides on your roses and things like that. It's non-toxic. It just helps the material work better and stick around longer.
Yeah. That answer it, Ted?
Sure does.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Yep,
Bye-bye now.
Okay, see you later.
Yep. 989-752-6111. Lines are open for you as we talk to Jim Begick from Begick Nursery and Garden Center. So, Jim, I've got these patches that I need to regrow grass in. Do I need to know what killed them in the first place before I start putting stuff in there?
Yeah, it's nice to know if you did know what killed him in the first place. The problem that you got sometimes is that the problem may be here and gone already.
Oh.
Okay, so it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to recognize. Now, I'll tell you what I've seen. Okay, I've seen some obviously some spotty grub control here and there. Doesn't seem to be as bad this year as been in the past. We'll talk about that a little bit more because of you're going to see grub problems sometimes in September, and it manifests itself in October.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that I've seen a lot of because of weather conditions, a lot of lawn diseases out there like dollar spot, red thread. There are some brown patch diseases. There's so many different varieties.
Yeah.
There's anthracnose and so forth. Now, if you'll see striping on the leaves, some yellowing, dotting with yellow ridges on the leaves, especially if you allow it to get a little bit longer. And that can indicate a disease issue. Okay.
Okay.
And so, or if the whole areas have actually just melted out, they all of a sudden, two things. Number one, the fringes of it to see if it's spreading at all. You might see mycelium, a little fuzziness around those edges, or actually dig down there and down about 3 or 4 inches and see if you've got any grubs and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Hang on. Got to take a break. And we also have Phil in Thomas Township. We'll talk to Phil when we come back after these notes on the Art Lewis Show as we chat with Jim Begick.
Lehman's Green Apple Barn is celebrating their 37th annual Apple Country Craft Show Saturday and Sunday, September 10th and 11th from 10 to 4. Over 60 local vendors will be featuring handmade items. You'll find crafters from wood, sewing, doll clothes, holiday and garden decor, fresh baked goods, warm donuts, freshly pressed apple cider, kettle corn, food trucks, and more. Check out greenapplebarn.com or visit on Facebook. Stop out to Lehman's Green Apple Barn Saturday and Sunday, September 10th and 11th from 10 to 4. Admission is free.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right. Start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 877-25-STEEL to see how General Steel money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 877-25-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 877-25-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building fast and easy. Call 877-25-STEEL. That's 877-257-8335. 877-25-STEEL.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
Card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card.
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened higher. Investors are hoping for the possibility of a soft as the Fed reacts to red-hot inflation with higher interest rates. The reason, there were 315,000 new jobs created in August. The number is down from more than 500,000 in July. The unemployment rate rose to 3.7%. More people went back to work. The labor force participation rate rose to 62.4%. Starbucks shares have been moving higher after the company named Laxman Narasimhan effective October 1st. He led Reckitt, parent company of Lysol and Enfamil baby formula through the pandemic. And chipmaker Broadcom shares are higher. It's predicting some products. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Hi, this is Lisa Booth. With so much instability and inflation in the world, I recommend protecting your retirement by diversifying with gold and silver. I recommend Bishop Gold Group. Bishop Gold Group sells physical gold and silver delivered to your door or put directly in your IRA. Call now and tell them Lisa Booth sent you. Dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and mention keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from Bishop Gold.
Well, good morning. It's a great day to be outside. What a terrific day to start off the Labor Day holiday. And I am in Fairgrove this morning. Bean Festival is ready. They're preparing for the 76th annual festival, which kicks off a little bit later on this afternoon and goes all the way through Labor Day. And right now, the weather looks really good for the entire festival. 3 nights of motorsports action, including bump and run, figure-8 demo derbies, and farm truck races of all things, something that they haven't been doing here at the Bean Festival for the past few years back. For the kids, we're talking pedal pulls, sand volleyball tournaments. For the adults, it's the classic car show, cornhole tournament, bake sale, plenty of games for the kids, carnival, craft vendors, plenty of motorsports activity and entertainment in the entertainment tent. It's all a part of the 76th annual Michigan Bean Festival. And oh yes, don't let me forget, plenty of free bean soup right here in Fairgrove.
News coverage.
We've wound down pandemic relief programs. It's time we do the same thing for student loans.
There's no such thing as loan cancellation. It's just a
Not people who went to Harvard the way that Tom Cotton did.
MAGA Republicans don't have a clue about the power of women. They are about to find out.
Florida is the state where woke goes to die.
How we're going to end this? By securing the borders. A lot of developments today.
News coverage on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you talking to Jim Begick from Begick Nursery and Garden Center, Westside Saginaw Road in Bay City. Jim, we got some callers stacked up here, so we'll get to the calls. Phil is in Thomas Township. Phil, thanks for waiting. Good morning.
Good morning, Art. Good morning, Jim.
Hi.
My front yard is probably 40% bent grass. And bent